Well, it is the first defeat of the season for the Central Coast Mariners, 2-0 to Sydney FC over the Central Coast in round two. We'd love to get your thoughts on this game. How did you think it played out? Where did you think it maybe went wrong for Central Coast Mariners in this game? And what areas do you think we need to improve in? We're going to be talking about the match right here, right now, and would love for you to join the conversation in the comment section. Overall, this game It wasn't a disastrous performance from Central Coast Mariners. I think Sydney FC probably in the end deserved the win looking at the balance of play. And there were some positives to take out from this performance. I thought defensively in that first half, we were strong. I thought Brad Tabb was excellent in that first half in particular. I think after that, the first 45 minutes, Sydney FC just had one shot on target looking at the stats. So it was the second half where it really started to come undone for the Mariners. Space started to open up. Campuzano and Wood with the goals for Sydney FC, and Mariners unable to make the comeback in the end. Let's talk about the lineup that was named for this game. The same starting 11 that we saw from the previous week, the F3W win. Not particularly surprising considering that was a good performance from the Mariners last week and obviously getting that win. So you want to keep that consistency. So I think we expected to sort of see this same setup. I mean, there was half an expectation that maybe we would see James Donachie come into the side here. He was named in the team sheets in the ins and outs during the week. He wasn't even in the matchday squad, so maybe he just wasn't, maybe they wanted to try and include him, but perhaps he wasn't ready, but he wasn't a part of the squad. The one really interesting call, though, was changing captains. Brad Tapp wore the captain's armband last week, and I'm pretty sure he wore it for that preseason friendly against Wellington the week prior. Nathan Paul was wearing the captain's armband for this game, despite Brad Tapp being right alongside him in the center of defense. So very curious to know what the decision-making was there. You assume it's Warren Moon making that call. Maybe he reckons Nathan Paul is a real leader there at the back, reckons that he should be wearing the captain's armband. But, I mean, to me, Brad Tapp seems like an excellent captain. He's someone who talks a lot on the field from what we see and is someone who has obviously been at the club for a number of years now. So very interesting there after that round one game to change captains for round two. So again, we're just sort of speculating in regards to what's going on there with the change of captain, but who knows, maybe we're just reading into it a little bit too much. Maybe there's not too much to it. Overall, though, like that back four was solid in this game for much of this game. I thought Brad Tapp and Nathan Paul were good in this match. Redmayne was called into action a few times, made a couple really good saves. McCalmont still working hard in midfield. And the front four, like they had some moments. Sabine on the right, Brandman down the left. DiPizio was trying to create stuff. Even in that first half, we had some good little passages of play where we looked decent. And Ryan Edmondson, I thought, was maybe a little bit quiet in this game. We know he's a dangerous player in the box, Ryan Edmondson, and if he gets these opportunities, he will bury them, and I'm sure he will score plenty of goals this season. But he was a little bit quiet in this game. But that was maybe more down to Sydney FC maintaining a pretty solid defensive structure, not allowing Ryan Edmondson to get into the game and get many touches on the ball. But look, I was okay with the starting lineup. In that second half, we saw the likes of DeLima come in. Faisal made his first appearance of the season as well after missing out in round one. Duarte, all these guys, Hayneem's trying to make an impact for the Harris as well, but unable to really turn the tide for Central Coast Mariners. And it feels like maybe there's just some improvements that might be, we need some improvement in the attacking third. That's what it felt like towards the end of this game as we were, down. It was, for a good chunk of that second half, trailing by one goal, it felt like we had hope throughout that whole game. It felt like if we just get one chance, if we can just get one ball over the top or get someone in behind down the wing, we could, square this up and get a draw out of this game. And I think on another day, we probably could have come away with a draw from this game. It's worth remembering that second goal for Sydney FC came basically right at the death where they sealed it in the end. But that hope was there, that belief was there. Just the quality, I think, was maybe lacking a little bit. I thought we were better in attack last week against the Jets. A little bit more impressive, getting, really sort of in behind them at times, Newcastle Jets. Whereas in this game, it didn't feel like we posed too much of a threat. We didn't have too many attempts on target in this game. I think Harrison Devonish-Mears and Sydney FC's goals had a pretty comfortable game overall. So I think defensively, even though we conceded 2 goals, which obviously, never ideal, but I thought defensively and even in midfield, we weren't too bad. Structurally, we were okay. But in that front third, it's nothing against those players. We know these are good players that are playing there. DiPizio in that 10 role, Sabit and Yor and Brandman on the wings, Edmondson up top. There's good players there. I think the personnel's okay. I wouldn't mind to see some change over the coming weeks, but I don't know whether maybe we need to like work on certain combinations going forward. We just need to be a little bit more effective. It was coming unstuck a little bit, some wayward passes as we broke into that final third. But overall, for me, here's my 3-2-1 votes, the top 3 play performances for me. Brad Tapp was number 1. I thought that first half, I thought he was excellent. He was on the end of everything. The Sydney FC were trying to get him behind, and the scores were level at the break, and Brad Tapp was a key part of that. And it really is a big talking point now. It's growing bigger and bigger amongst the fan base. I'm seeing is Brad Tapp, whether he should be moving into midfield, and James Donachie, when he is fit to return to action, does he jump into centre back and you push Brad Tapp into midfield? But then who drops out from the midfield? Because we know we've got 2 good guys there already in Harry Steele and Alfie McCalmont. So it's a real headache for Warren Moon, who's tasked with figuring this out. Because Brad Tapp has been playing very, very well at centre back, and I feel pretty assured having Tapp and Paul at centre back, and those guys will just improve, together throughout this upcoming season. But maybe it would help having an experienced player like James Donachie in there. And of course, shouldn't even forget, in a few months' time, hopefully, we'll have Trent Sainsbury returning to the side as well. So it's exciting that defense will improve for Central Coast Mariners, and possibly we will reduce those goals conceded. I thought Alfie McCalmont worked really hard in midfield as well. Another thing to highlight is that I did notice in that second half when Hayne Eames came on, Alfie McCalmont was shifted up into sort of that number 10 position where DiPizio was playing. I don't know if I can't recall McCalmont ever playing that position for the Mariners. I could, see him playing that position, get him in that number 10 role where he can really start to influence the attacking play a little bit more. But I thought he did work hard in this game, and Storm Rue was, I thought, had a solid performance at right back as well. But overall, not too many, standout attacking performances in this game for Mariners in the end. But there's my 3-2-1 votes as well. So in the end, it's a 2-0 loss for the Mariners. Look, it's not panic stations. It's considering that we've already got 3 points on the board after last week. It's okay considering obviously the crazy last month that we've had at this club with head coach Mark Jackson departing the club. To sustain a defeat here against a good Sydney FC side away, it's nothing to get completely upset about. Having said that, we want to make sure we continue improving. We don't want to, we do not want to make losses a regular thing. We know last season we had so many runs where we're just loss after loss after loss, and we don't want to get into those trends once again. So, game against Wellington Phoenix this coming weekend. Huge matchup for the Mariners against a Phoenix side who have a draw against Perth Glory away and then a win at home against a good Brisbane Roar side. So, it will be a really good test for the Mariners. And of course, we hosted Wellington Phoenix in a preseason friendly at Gosford just a few weeks ago. I was at that game, and we even did a video talking about it here on the channel a couple weeks ago, and 3-0 loss for the Mariners in that game. So we got to turn it around. We got to improve, and I think we will be a lot more competitive in this game this time around against Wellington Phoenix. But it's a 2-0 loss here for the Mariners in round 2. Drop your thoughts in the comments and stay subscribed if you want to stay up to date to the Mariners content we are doing here at Coastwatch Football. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit the like button on the way out. My name's Lockie. See you in the next one.